Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Jabregi, and joining me down there in Elkhart is Hope. How you doing, Hope?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Ricky?
Doing all right. Having another interesting week. Still coping
Yeah.
with still coping with the loss of my one dog, and still have my other. So, got to pick his ashes up tomorrow when they call me.
Oh,
So yeah.
well, we had a event yesterday with NAMI, and there was other groups there, but I got to stand up and kind of tell my story with my mental health issues, and it
Oh, okay.
it went good.
Good deal. A lot of folks jumping in there, run for justice, juxtaposition. I see red flags. Ellen's here. Brian's here. How's everybody doing tonight? Holler out where you're watching from. Share the show out as far and wide as you can share it out there for.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, he was getting up there in age. He was 14. He had this mass on the back of his neck, and the vet was concerned with his age, whether he would be able to survive the surgery and the after effects and everything. And not knowing what the mass was, is they, like I said, they're saying the tissue was dead around it. And so I was
Yeah.
concerned that it was cancerous, is what I was concerned with, but I don't know. I'll put up a photo of him real quick so y'all can see what he looked like. And that's what he looked like. He was half husky, half Spitz.
Oh,
As you can see, all fur.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That was my big buddy Sammy. He stayed by my side wherever I went in this apartment. Didn't matter if I went to the restroom, went to the kitchen, went to my daughter's room, went to the living room. He stayed on my heel everywhere I went, slept by my bed. Well, he used to sleep either up in my bed or next to my bed when he could still get up on the bed. But as he got older, he couldn't get up on the bed anymore. So he just slept next to my bed or at the foot of the bed. Or sometimes he would sleep at my bedroom doorway facing looking down the hallway like he was guarding the bedroom or something. I don't know.
Well, he may have been.
May have. But he's definitely going to be missed for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to the show here. And first thing I want to talk about tonight is I got an email from KBI today, and I put the release up there on the screen here, and I'll go over that here in just a second. It's skeletal remains found in Wilson County, Kansas. KBI and the Neodesha Police Department, Wilson County Sheriff's Office are conducting a homicide investigation after human skeletal remains were located in rural Wilson County on September 24th around 11:30 a.m. Neodesha Police Department requested KBI assistance after they located skeletal remains in a pasture east of 6554 Ottawa Road in Neodesha. KBI agents and the crime scene response team responded to the area. Investigators confirmed the remains were human. An autopsy is scheduled. Positive identification may take longer than typical cases due to the condition of the remains. Anyone with information about this investigation can call the KBI 1-800-KS-CRIME, excuse me, which would be, I'll decipher that number for you here. It is 1-800-572-7463, or you can go online and submit them via email at kbi.ks.gov/SAR, and the investigation is ongoing. That's all the information they've released so far as that remains goes. I did some looking, and there's a couple missing persons in Wilson County that caught my eye that it possibly could be. And we'll just have to wait and see what they determine after autopsy.
Right.
But yeah, yep, yep. Lucy Lou, hey, everybody.
Narcissist Hunter. Hey,
Narcissist Hunter,
guys.
Lone Star Justice. Are these some of your friends in there, Derek? This Lucy Lou, Narcissist Hunter, Lone Star Justice, all that?
Yeah.
because I don't recognize any of them. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't. Now, let's see. We're going to talk about Dietrich Foster tonight. He's missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12, 2020. He was 37 when he went missing. He's now 42. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12, 2020, and was last seen around April 12, 2020 in Independence. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 42, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Dietrich has a scar on his chest from heart surgery and a scar on the right side of his nose. He has the following tattoos: a cross on his right forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Dejeuner on his arm, and the word foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So if you have any information regarding his disappearance, get that called in as soon as you possibly can.
Man, it's getting close to almost 5 years he's been gone, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting up there. Definitely getting up there. This one is Alexander Perez, a case we've been covering for a very, very, very long time. Since the beginning. Missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. 35 when he went missing. He's now 39. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he nearly shaves bald and brown eyes. And we called a family member on December 1st and said he'd be coming over to do laundry. He never arrived at that family member's home in Ulysses. Alexander has not been heard from or seen by family since then, and he had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 39. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes, has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance, so you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grattan County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Alexander located and, back to his family, because I know they've been looking for him all this time. So let's do what we can to help.
Yeah.
And Derek gave us an update last week that apparently they're not going to be prosecuting the individual that they arrested for his murder because they apparently lack of evidence from the sounds of it and no body. So he'll be prosecuted for his other crimes, but nothing related to Alexander, apparently. Isn't that correct, Derek?
Yeah, from my understandings, and this hasn't been like an official statement, but like with that arrest and all that stuff going on, I was kind of considering this case unsolved homicide, but now he's not being charged for it. It's kind of just back to being a missing persons case because they're not, they don't have anybody they're saying did anything to him right now. So that's just me reading between the lines a little bit.
Right. Did you ever dig up that last phone message that he left?
I have it on another computer. I can play it next week. Just remind me before next week I can play it. But yeah, it's on another computer. It's pretty crazy though. It's not good.
Right. Okay, cool.
Jessica says there's a girl, I think 14, named Isabel Miller. Why does her flyer show up so much? Does she run away a lot?
Well, I have her actually loaded in there to cover tonight. So if you want to pop hers up, we can sure do it.
What was the last name?
Miller.
Okay, yeah, I got you. There we go.
All right. Yep, she's missing from Topeka, Kansas, September 20th of this year. She's 14. She's 5'3" to 5'5", 150 pounds. Dirty blonde hair that was last known to be dyed black and blue-green eyes. Her hair is cut extremely short, unless we knew. She was last night to be wearing a fuchsia shirt, a blue, brown, and black flannel, black shorts, a brown Coach backpack, black shoes, and a gray hat. As far as your question about her running like she does, not sure the reason behind it. I know her mom has commented that they've tried to get her help on numerous occasions, but Isabella, for whatever reason, keeps refusing it and just keeps continually doing this. And I told her mom, as long as she continues to do this, let me know, and I'll keep her flyers going and see if we can't keep getting her found. And hopefully she'll be receptive of help at some point, hopefully.
Right.
But if you have any information regarding her disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And hopefully we can help get her located again and back to where she needs to be. I know I've seen a lot of comments on her flyer, trying to, everybody basically putting their opinion in there as to why they think she ran and this and that. And, I don't think it's, and some people are saying it must be issues within the home, and people have been steadfastly defending mom, saying, nope, it's not the home. She's got a very loving, caring home, and they've all been trying to rally around her, get her help. But like I say, she just continually, refuses the help and keeps running. So don't know if it's a tension thing. I don't know if there might be some mental health issues at play. I honestly don't know, but all we can do is pray for the best and keep sharing her flyer.
Yeah. Justice for Cynthia Renee Gonzalez says, yes, Isabella has been missing at different times. A friend of mine's daughter is friends with Isabella. It's complicated. Mental illness is her biggest fight.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kelsey Youngblood. She's in the house.
Hey,
Yeah.
Kelsey.
Yeah. So hopefully we, like I say, well, let's just keep sharing her flyer out there and help get her, found. Hopefully they can get her help. I mean, it sounds like she really needs it, and like I said, as long as she continues to do it, I'm going to keep posting her flyers. And I know some people get a little irritated that I share the same ones over and over and over. And I've had people bring that up with other people I've shared flyers for repeatedly. They ran repeatedly, but they deserve to be found just as much as anybody else does. So
Absolutely.
let's just keep it going and get them found.
Yeah. Well, I looked on KBI's website, and we have 197 juveniles missing and 409 adults as of right now.
Right. Yeah, and Jessica, says I didn't know what was going on, but we're looking for my father, Jonathan Jensen. And after I saw that comment, I put his flyer in the thing over there tonight too. So it's up there too. Yeah, see, Kelsey Youngblood's out there, guys and a gal tonight. Yep. And thank you, Narcissus Hunter said these flyers look amazing. I try to do my best on them. I've been doing them for 12 years, and I've tweaked things and changed things and things like that. But I try to keep the basic format the same. And the only thing I've really tweaked is the stuff at the top. So, but yeah, and this is another one we've covered for a long time. Kenny.
Yeah.
Right, check. Been missing from here in Salina, Kansas since November 4th, 2019. He was 69 when he was missing. He's now 74. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, gray hair, blue eyes. Does sometimes use the last name Brown. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities, and he is on disability, but has not tried to access the funds since he was last seen. He may have family in Northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. Kenny was last seen at the Gospel Mission here in Salina, left there, and hasn't been seen or heard from since. Does not have a phone, a vehicle, or any identification. His main transportation was a bicycle that he rode around. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He's now 74. 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA TIPS to CRIMES, which is 274637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. or call the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Kenny located and back to where he needs to be. And I also want to add to that too that I don't know if it's related or not, but they did find human remains here. I can't remember what year it was now, but it was in the west part of town off Magnolia in a creek bed. Initially, it was reported that it was a partial skull. And as of recently, they released an article, KWCH did, about the sheriff's department is raising money to try to help identify the remains. And they put a piece in there about not only was the partial skull found, but they also found additional remains in a dilapidated tent in the same area. So they've put up part of the money for this identification, and they put up a link to where people can donate if they want to try to help get these remains located. Thank you, brother. He just commented remains were found in 2021. Thank you.
They've raised $3,898.
Have they? Okay. Well, they're getting up there a little bit more because it was $3,700 last we looked, wasn't it? Yeah. And Ryan says he's not been contacted yet about the SSI question from the last live with Kenny. Wanted to, But yeah, so, I mean, like I said, after they announced about the remains and everything, I did some, and, they said in the article also that they believe that the remains are male, and the time lapse between when the man died and when the remains were found were about a year. And so I did some digging on KBI to see what missing persons cases in Salinas Lane County that there were and which one would be the closest that fit their time frame. And the closest that fit their time frame is Kenny. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's him or not, but until they can get the remains properly tested, because the first lab they went to said they couldn't pull enough DNA for a proper profile, which they must have very limited capabilities at that lab, because I know I've seen things on the news and on like cold case files on A&E and things like that, where there are labs that specialize in doing what they call tandem repeat DNA testing, which basically they take a small sample of DNA and they multiply that over and over and over until they get a usable sample of DNA to be able to test. So I know that technology does exist.
Right.
So I'm hoping this lab that they're trying to get with has that capability where they can take a small sample and do that and get a decent size. So hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, we'll just keep praying for that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, hopefully Kenny's still out there somewhere and doesn't realize that he's missing, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah, this one is Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond, missing from Moscow, Colorado since August 15, 2019. She's 30 when she was missing. She's now 35. She's 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from a Moscow, Colorado home. She left all her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, her car, computer, tools, and pet dog. She'd only been living in the area for about 3 weeks prior to her disappearance. She previously lived in Columbus, Ohio. She may be living homeless, although police can find little evidence in her disappearance. Her mother believes she did not leave of her own accord and may have been a human trafficking victim. Rochelle suffers from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which she also left behind. Rochelle's nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "live like a lion" on her upper chest, a star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, a cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos. And you can see there are photos of some of the tattoos along the bottom there. She was last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and a silver circular barbell in her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608 and see if we can help get Rochelle located and back to where she needs to be.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, I've done some research on the area that she disappeared from, and my goodness, there's like nothing there.
Really?
Yeah, it's like sand dunes, and
wow.
I mean, it's just very, very desolate out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Margaret watches
I
from
never-
New York City.
From where?
New
Oh,
York.
New York City. Okay, I see the NYC now. All the way up there in New York. I want to go to New York sometime. I want to check out all the old mafia haunts up there, just to check them out. All the old social
Right.
clubs and things like that. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would.
I'm kind of a mafia buff.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right. This is Haley Davis, another one missing from Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. She was 19 when she was missing. She's now 20. She's 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde and blue eyes. She did leave Salina with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, and she was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st. And at the time of her disappearance, Haley was 19. She's now 20. She's 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477, or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit your tip that way. Or you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181, or 316-268-4407, or 316-263-6011, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And I did add the Wichita stuff a few weeks back because I did find out that Wichita is also investigating, since she did go to Wichita with a male acquaintance. So they're involved in this investigation as well. So if you're in the Salina end of it, call our police department or call Wichita. Same goes if you're on the Wichita end of it, call Wichita or call Salina, either way. But if you have any information, get it in there so they can see if they can get her found and, back to where she needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is, human trafficking is quite prevalent these days.
Very much so.
Sadly, it's a big money business, unfortunately. Hate to call it a business, but that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This is Dana Jane Bruce, missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She's now 39. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair and green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia, Missouri. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush, and she does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 39. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the words Rebel in silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. Dana has a 2-inch scar on her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100. Or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free number, 866-362-6422, or you can call Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070 and see if we can help get Dana located and back to her family. Because there again, I know they've been looking for her since 2008. They want her home. You know, her kids were very young when she went missing, and now they're pretty much adults now, so or close to it. So let's help them out. Let's get her found, get her home.
Absolutely. You know, I know what it's like to grow up without a parent, but I couldn't imagine growing up with one that you don't know what happened, you know?
Right. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, that's true. Man, it also affects not just females, but males as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Juxtaposition says if someone had to describe my tats, it would take a while. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, they did. They did find him and arrest him. Yeah, they did. And Jessica was asking, did they find the male father that took the little boy since they found the little boy safe? His flyer was posted about a week ago. Yeah, and like I said, they did arrest him. So, yeah, they did find him. And this one here is a case that really gets me fired up. and as I cover it, you'll find out why. This is Jamie Jasmine Zubia Hernandez. It's an unsolved homicide back in May 30th of 2015 in Kansas City, Kansas. 13-year-old Jamie Jasmine Zubia Hernandez ran away from her foster home in Wathena, Kansas on June 9, 2012. Prior to her disappearance, Jamie had recently been prosecuted in a juvenile court for drug possession. She was due in court for her sentencing shortly after her disappearance. Jamie never showed up and was never seen by her foster family again. There was unfortunately very little media coverage on Jamie's disappearance, likely due to her runaway status, which that happens a lot, and sadly it needs to change. 3 years later, during the early morning hours of May 30th, 2015, a Kansas City resident called the police to report a shootout on the 2500 block of Ridge Avenue. According to witnesses, two vehicles fired shots at each other and a female passenger, and one of the vehicles was killed as a result. The female's passenger's body was dumped on the side of the road, and the vehicles drove off before the police arrived. 2 days later, on June 1st, 2015, authorities announced that the slain female was identified as Jamie. The identity of Jamie's killer remains unknown, as does the identity of the driver in the car Jamie was riding in when she was shot. Additionally, Jamie's whereabouts from June 2012 to May 2015 still remain a mystery. Although she was ultimately found in Kansas City, it's unknown where she stayed or how she survived during those 3 years. Investigators said they received a tip that Jamie was in Kansas City back in 2013, but when they followed said lead, they were unable to locate her. At that time, police were searching for a late 1990s or early 2000s white Ford F-150 with flare sides, tinted windows, 20-inch chrome rims, and a touchscreen device in the cab. The truck was located June 2nd, 2015, unoccupied, and was taken and processed for evidence. If you have any information regarding Jamie's murder, please call the Wathena, Kansas Police Department at 785-989-4521, or you can call the tips hotline anonymously at 816-474-8477, or KBI at 1-800-572-7463, or you can scan that QR code that says "Say It Here" and submit your tip that way. But this is the case that gets me fired up because a lot of times, like I mentioned earlier in the flyer, it says, unfortunately, there was very little media coverage on her disappearance, likely due to her runaway status. And as I said, that needs to definitely change because even though, like I've been saying, even though they ran away, they still need to look for, because we don't know if they ran away of their own accord. Were they talking to somebody online that maybe was grooming or coercing them into running? Yeah. I mean, we just don't know.
No.
So even if they believe they want to run away, they still need to, make every effort to look and find them and get them found and back to safety. And I know it says they received a tip in 2013 that she was in Kansas City, but they couldn't locate her. Now, granted, Kansas City is huge between the fact you got half of it on Kansas, half of it on Missouri, but it's just sad. I mean, 13 years old and she gets shot and shoved out of the vehicle and left there to die in the street. I mean, it's just,
yeah, it's nonsense.
And that's what fires me up is, the fact they think she was a runaway. I mean, she obviously was a runaway, but, they did their best to find her. But, I just think, you put that runaway label on a kid and it just gives you a stigma. I think it gives that kid a stigma because I automatically think runaway, well, they must be a bad kid. And, a lot of times these kids, even though, even if they are in foster care, not a lot of these kids are in foster care by their own actions. Sometimes they're in foster care because of the actions or lack of actions by the parent.
Yeah.
So it's not always the kid that gets themselves put in foster care. Sometimes it's on the parents that gets them put in foster care. So,
well, it doesn't matter whether it's on their accord or not.
Right.
Foster care is hard.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Right.
And these kids are human.
Mm-hmm.
Quit putting labels on them. I mean, that's
Right.
what's wrong with society is everybody gets a label and then that's what they become.
All right.
It's not
Exactly.
It's not fair and it's not right.
Right. I was a foster parent for a while, so, so I've seen both sides of it. It's my two daughters that we adopted from foster care, they, like I said, they were two that were in foster care, not because of their actions, but because of the actions of their birth parents. Their birth parents both had a lot of issues that prevented them from caring for their kids properly, and that's where we stepped in. And, my older daughter, she started out as one of my wife's daycare kids, or my ex-wife's daycare kids. And that was when she was 3 months old. So basically we've had her since she was 3 months old. My younger daughter, we brought her home from the hospital when she was bailed. So,
yeah,
we've had them since they were very, very young. And, my older daughter, she'll be 20 next month, and my younger daughter just turned 18 a few months ago. So, I mean, they're both adults now. So, It's been a while. It's been a while.
I want to say too that I don't like the term runaway either, but at the same time, like even if we just keep the term runaway, I don't know anybody that would think that somebody under the age of 18 who's in some kind of distress taking off on, without telling anybody where they're going, like whatever you want to call it, that's a volatile situation and it needs action immediately. I don't care what we call it. It's a young person who's obviously in some kind of emotional turmoil that's just taken off on their own volition. We should drop what we're doing and find that kid.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like what they say about, if you get a lead on a case within the first 48 hours and the chances of solving it are cut in half. So, I mean, I think that goes for missing persons. If you don't find a lead to get you on that missing person's trail within that 48 hours, it's going to be harder to find them. That's why a lot of times I don't get why there's such a delay with Amber Alerts when an Amber Alert goes out. Sometimes it's hours before they put that thing out.
Right.
And I don't exactly understand that. Maybe I need somebody in law enforcement to explain it to me, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Juxtaposition is saying if you think someone's missing, you should report as soon as possible. Not all runaways are bad kids. No, they're not. For encouragement, a list in Navarro, missing from Arizona since 2019, recently walked into a Montana police department asking for help to be removed from missing persons list. Yep, she did.
Wow.
And I never have heard any more as far as how she got there or who she got there with or anything like that. I do know they arrested the guy that she was with. And I just recently saw another one that a kid that was abducted in the 50s was found as a senior citizen here recently in his 70s. I just recently saw that. I wish I could remember where that was from. I'm gonna have to see if I can locate that. But yeah, I was blown away by that. I was like, wow. I mean, a kid that was abducted when he was back in the 1950s, and they find him all these years later. I've been meaning to get the details on that and post that, and I haven't done it, but I need to find it again.
Yeah. And this is a good point too. We obviously, if you're young and nobody knows who you are, we're gonna showcase you on this show. But if you're running away from a situation that's dangerous, just because we want you found and safe doesn't mean we want to take you back to a lion's den. Please
Mhm.
utilize the proper channels. Please report anything that may be happening to you that would cause you to flee. We don't want to just deliver you back to the depths of hell. Yes, we want you to be found. Yes, we want you to be, where adults can help you. But if something's happening to you to cause you to run away, please, please, please call the right people and let them know. Tell as
Right.
many people as you can.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just found an article on that 6-year-old abducted from California park in 1951, found alive after 7 decades. This man who was abducted as a 6-year-old while playing in a California park in 1951 has been found more than 7 decades later thanks to the help of an online ancestry test, old photos, and newspaper clippings. The Bay Area News Group reported on Friday that Luis Armando Albino, his niece in Oakland, with assistance from police, the FBI, and Justice Department, located her uncle living on the U.S. East Coast. Albino, a father and grandfather, is a retired firefighter and Marine Corps veteran who served in Vietnam, according to his niece, 63-year-old Alida Elkeen. She found Albino and reunited with him with his California family in June. On February 21st, 1951, a woman lured the 6-year-old Albino from the park in West Oakland, where he'd been playing with his older brother, promised him in Spanish that she would buy him candy. Instead, the woman kidnapped a Puerto Rico-born boy flying him to the East Coast, where he ended up with a couple who raised him as if he were their own son. The news group reported officials and family members didn't say where on the East Coast he lives. For more than 70 years, Albino remained missing, but he was always in the hearts of his family, and his photo hung at relatives' houses. His niece said his mother died in 2005 but never gave up hope that her son was alive. Oakland police acknowledged that Alkeen's efforts played an integral role in finding her uncle, and that the outcome of this story is what we strive for. And this article was quite lengthy, so I won't go into it all. But I mean, it's just amazing that he was abducted in 1951 and found living on the East Coast all these decades later. That's why we don't give up on the missing, because you never know. You just never know. That's crazy. It's awesome. It's awesome they found him and were able to reunite him with, the remaining family he does have. And yeah, just amazing. That's why you never give up on a missing person. They may be missing for a long time, but they still may be out there. You just never know.
CB Slinger, I'm Hope's inside the studio. I'm outside. I don't see anybody here, except for Hope said there was a coyote out here about 30 minutes ago.
Oh, cool.
There was. It was yipping, carrying on.
Wow.
There's for these kids. There's reasons why they run away. Yeah.
Wow. Did I see that right? Somebody said that their mom married them off at 16. Wow. Boy, I just cannot keep up with the comments tonight. There's so many of them.
There is. There's quite a few tonight.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate them all, too.
Yeah, shout out to our normal Kansas Missing and Unsolved crowd that hangs out on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
With Hope and May's help, they covered the missing mom hearing 2 weeks ago, and we've just been blessed with, I think 100 subscribers on our YouTube since that day. So a lot of really cool people have just been hanging out and watching all the shows that Back Home Media is associated with, and it's been really cool, man. Oh, by the way, anybody who's watching from YouTube over here, all of the flyers that you're seeing tonight are featured on Ricky's Facebook page. Just search for Kansas Missing and Unsolved, and he has around 80,000 followers. It's the biggest biggest page that Back Home Media is associated with, and his flyers are seen by, on average, around 1.4 million people every 28 days, which is just great whenever the name of the game is trying to get as many eyes on these flyers as possible, because, as Kelsey says, never stop searching, share until they are home. These flyers get shared all over the country, and it's just step one. If your loved one's missing and even if you're not in this area, as you can see, this is a Texas case. Just message the Facebook page Kansas Missing and Unsolved, and Ricky Trebergi will help you.
Yeah, definitely. And I was just looking, and we just rolled 92,000 followers.
Wow.
So we're rolling. We are rolling. Just keep it going. This is another unsolved homicide. This one out of Arlington, Texas. Cynthia Renee Gonzalez. On September 17, 1991, Cynthia Renee Gonzalez was reported missing to the Arlington, Texas Police Department. On September 22nd, 1991, Cynthia's body was discovered in a creek bed off County Road 313 in Johnson County, Texas. It was later determined that Cynthia had died from multiple gunshot wounds. Cynthia was reportedly at her apartment with her boyfriend when her husband stopped by to deliver their daughter for a weekend visit. Sometime later, Cynthia left for an appointment without her customary bodyguard. She was never seen again. Serial killer Kenneth Allen McDuff, 1946 to 1998, was looked at in connection with Cynthia's death. Jim Ford, longtime Arlington police officer and a renowned homicide investigator, looked at McDuff in connection with Cynthia's case for going on 18 years. He was never able to make a match or a mismatch. McDuff was believed to have abducted a victim from a car wash in Austin, Texas. Cynthia's car, a two-seat Pontiac Fiero, was seen parked at a car wash in Arlington, Texas on the day she disappeared. There were similarities in the Austin case and in Cynthia's case. He kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed his victim in a car wash in Austin. He dumped the bodies of several of his victims in rural areas. He killed several victims by shooting them. Investigators could not place McDuff in the Arlington area and could not determine whether he was out on the streets at that time, but could not find him as being incarcerated at that time either. Other persons of interest have come up and have been cleared as well. McDuff has since been ruled out by DNA testing. If you do have any information regarding Cynthia's death, please contact 817-459-5772. If you wish to remain anonymous and possibly receive a reward of up to $1,250, please call Tarrant County, Texas Crime Stoppers, 817-469-8477, and see if we can't get some justice for Cynthia and her family and friends. CB Slinger says her and one of her mods said you were boring, Derek. Oops.
Oops.
I just had to run through the house to get my charger because my mobile studio started dying.
Uh-oh.
CB Slinger, I can see for 16 miles. Do you have gear on?
I
Queenie
can tell
says
you,
if someone took me, they would throw me out of the car. If you watch on Sunday night's Hope show, 7 Day Circle with Hope and May, we've had this discussion within the last few weeks where like if May ever got kidnapped, within an hour they would bring her back. Like within an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, CB Singer says I'm at the motel.
Oh Lord. What are they doing in town?
Thank you, Narcissist Hunter. That's very sweet to say. Especially knowing that I have an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. It lasted 3 months before I left. Turned out well. Wonderful kids and grandkids. My late husband was amazing, so I turned out okay.
Amen for that.
Thank you for checking out that speech. Steph just recorded it last minute. Hope did a speech too. I don't know if we have it recorded. If we do, it's up
I
to her.
don't think so.
But me and Hope are now public speakers, so
It's totally
Well, that's cool.
if you, it was really cool. It was really cool to talk to a room full of people that cared about the same thing. You know,
Much appreciated, Ryan. Much appreciated. I get a lot of people that tag me and send me links and stuff like that. So yeah, they appreciate every one of them too.
Gonzalez says, talk to the detective today. The lead they had did not pan out. Back to square one. We are running out of time for this case to stay open. Lack of funding, updated equipment, very frustrating.
Wow.
I'm so sad.
It's crazy.
Thank you, Lone Star.
I'm sorry.
There's so many comments; it's hard to keep up with.
Oh, I know, which is awesome. I don't think I've ever seen that many comments come down at once.
Somebody said I was boring. Do they have a camera on me? Because I don't move very much. One might think I was dead if they were just watching from across the street. I am not boring. Awesome. There's a lot of comments
Thanks,
here.
everybody. Derek
We just
needs
wanted
some
to-
vacuum.
Rest in peace to Larry. Yeah, I know that CB Slinger is in the area, and if you're in Elkhart city limits, you probably can see us because it's a small town. But yeah, rest in peace to Larry, and sorry. There's a lot of that going around. CB Slinger, my wife's brother, passed away last week. Just a lot of that going around. And earlier we were talking about they found that skull in Salina, and we find ourselves getting a little excited that hope. I know that Ricky maybe. I know me and Ricky feel like we kind of hope it's Kenny, but even then, you find yourself hoping that like this dead body they found is somebody that you like know stuff about. So it's very as much as death is a part of life and we all must go through it. It's never easy. It's never fun to see it happen, and it's just it's wild how many days and how many hours have passed since people have seen their loved one, and a lot of people have no idea where their loved one is. So it's just very heavy.
Yep.
She says, Queenie says, boring is good. There's too much drama in the world.
Amen
Yeah,
to that.
definitely. Amen to
Lucy's
that
saying,
one.
don't forget to hit that like and notification. Lucy is just the MVP in the chat.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Lindsay Coyote, and then we'll get back to some comments. We got a lot to get to still.
Yep, this is one I just did last night. It took me a couple of days to get his done because I was waiting to make sure the report was filed and all that. But this is Lindsay Coyote, missing from Park City, Kansas. It's September 10th of 2024. He's 30, 5'11", 160 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last known to be in the area of Emporia on Lincoln Street, just south of downtown Wichita. And my understanding is he'd actually recently moved to Wichita, so he's actually living in Wichita. Lindsay's 30, he's 5'11", weighs 160 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He is Native American. It's unknown what he was wearing when he was last seen, but he does like T-shirts of punk grunge bands and dark jeans. If you have any information regarding Lindsay's disappearance, of his whereabouts, please call the Park City, Kansas Police Department at 316-744-2011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Lindsay located and back to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Ricky, can you message me on Facebook Messenger that flyer?
Yeah. Let me just send it to the group chat thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
One is, he belongs to the Native American community, and there's a back home media show called the Dodgecast, and it's basically just a podcast about this town called Anadarko, Oklahoma, and it's very very native area, and there's a lot of Hope had mentioned earlier. There's roughly like 600 people missing in Kansas right now, and Ricky's showing you like 22, 23 flyers tonight. So as you can tell, like Ricky's doing an amazing job, and Ricky kicks ass in my opinion, but he's barely scratching the surface, folks. Like he's not getting anywhere near as many flyers made as possible. And then when you go into other communities, whether it be like Hispanic or like Native American, a lot fewer of those flyers are being made. The main reason Ricky will make a flyer for any human being missing if you send it to him. I'll tell you that right now. Ricky does not care who anybody is, race, sex, color, sexual orientation, whatever. Ricky does not care. If you're missing, you're missing, you're a human missing. But there is probably not a great communication between those communities and people like Ricky, outlets like Ricky. So anytime we have any kind of flyers that do feature somebody that is Native American, I do like to get it down to the Dodgecast guys so they can sort of get it to their audience. But yeah, it's just basically that I think Ricky's doing a great job, but as you can see, there's a lot more work to be done. And just it's great that anybody shares any of these flyers, but it's just a lot that needs to be done, especially in communities that we don't really have a good outlet to receive flyers, receive information to make flyers.
Right. Yeah, this one's Lexi Smith. She's missing from Hutchinson, Kansas on September 22nd, 2024. She's 15, 5'3", 180 pounds, light brown hair and blue eyes. I believe that she's with a 17-year-old male. And she's 15, 5'3", 180 pounds, light brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Lexi's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Hutchinson, Kansas Police Department at 620-674-2800 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Lexi located and back to where she needs to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always give out the runaway number, the 1-800-RUNAWAY, and that's 1-800-786-2929. Call it. If you're wanting to go home, call it. I'm telling you, they'll work with you. They'll be the mediators, whatever, they're out there to help you get home or get help. Or if you're just in a crisis, you can call the 988 number. It's the suicide and crisis hotline. You can send a text, you can get online. I mean, there's just ways to get help to help yourself and your families. And I just urge anybody that's out there, call either one of those numbers at any time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think something that's, I think if you're in a situation where you're out on your own, you're young, you don't have a network of people you can trust, you don't have money, you get to that feeling of desperation, and that's not a good place to be. And you're not thinking your best, you're not on your best, you don't have your wits about you. And that's not just something that teens struggle with. I'm 40 years old, and like a couple of weeks ago, I needed help, and somebody from here in Elkhart came over and helped me, and it was a conversation, and I was able to have the proper tools to get myself leveraged enough to keep going for my family. Long story short is if you're young and you don't have resources, you don't have anybody you can trust, it's literally just calling 1-800-786-2929 can get you in contact with adults who can give you some resources, who can give you a place to go. They can help you essentially build a railroad out of despair and back to where you need to be. The first step is calling that number. It's not a sign of weakness. It's the biggest sign of strength. It's the most strong choice you'll ever make in your life.
Yeah.
Well said. Very well said. And this is Justice Jones, and I wanted to reshare her case. I think we did last week, but I wanted to reshare it again because I added some photos to the flyer. Wrong flyer. I pulled up the wrong one. She's missing from Spring Hill, Kansas, September 13th of 2024. She's 17, 5'4", weighs between 115 and 130 pounds, and has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Justice's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Spring Hill, Kansas Police Department at 913-782-0720 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Justice located and back to where she needs to be. Hopefully she's safe where she's at, but, need to get her back to where she needs to be.
Absolutely.
We'll get to some of these comments. Ryan says Elkhart's a town that if you blink, you miss it.
Absolutely. That is the truth.
I'll say this, though. I think most of the towns out here in Western Kansas, if you just drive through them on the highway, they don't look like anything. But, they kind of go deep. Like you start driving down those little roads, they kind of going and stuff. It's not a metropolis or anything, but if you get off the main highway, it's a little bit bigger.
Oh,
Thank
thank you,
you, Mark.
Margaret.
Let's see. Juxtapositions from Anadarko, Oklahoma. Check out the Dodgecast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. They have probably, I don't know, 80 episodes. It's a great. It's the as far as audio shows for Back Home Media, they get the most downloads out of any of the shows that work with us. They don't really do a live stream. Hope and May are the queens of live streaming over at Back Home Media. Ricky's kind of giving them a run for their money now. He's got a lot of people. Let me see. They caught a man and a woman at a truck stop where I live trafficking not long ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Good. Government stuff them.
Lots of people in Anadarko have gone. Ricky, what are your thoughts on the do you I know you're a YouTube guy. Do you watch what is his name? Gordon Flowers, the Ped Patrol guys, the guys that are going out doing these stings and catching the pedophiles?
I think I've watched him before. I know I watched one other guy. I can't think of his name though either. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they go after him and confront him and video him and say, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this and stuff? And of course, when they confront him and stuff, they no. But
See, like,
I mean, yeah, I think it's cool that they out him like that. I mean, make it public. Let them know what kind of people they are.
So to
I'm
me,
sure
the
they probably caused a
takeaways
lot
from
of
those
divorces.
shows is whenever, like, when Chris Hansen used to do it back in the day, it really showcased that men would do some dumb things sometimes. What these newer versions, these ped catchers on YouTube, it made even me, like, I'm somebody who I feel like I'm not super jaded by stuff. I think I kind of see things for what they are. But what these shows have taught me is, like, these guys that are meeting up with who they think is like a 13-year-old child, like,
Right.
that's just the tip of the iceberg of what these guys are into. Like,
Oh,
what these guys are actually into and what is on their phones is disgusting and not human, in my opinion. But so to me, it taught me that, whoa, this is way deeper. None of these guys are just, oh, I made an accident. No, these guys and girls that they're catching are deep in the world of just disgustingness that I don't think there's a cure for. Now, that being said, there's probably, that I know of, at least 7 or 8 YouTube predator catchers that are doing 7 videos a week.
No,
Like,
wow.
if you just do that math, like, the America's crawling with pedophiles.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and
It's
everybody gets a
scary.
slap on the wrist these days for it.
Well,
It's
yeah.
stupid, and it makes me sick.
Yeah, there's a sheriff down in Florida that's real good, Grady Judd, that they do human trafficking stings and prostitution stings and whatnot, and he's good about showing their pictures and telling what they find on them and the age of the kid they thought they were going to be meeting up with, only to find out they were meeting a detective instead, and it's I think it's good. I mean, probably caused a lot of divorces, but hey.
It's just crazy. Like, it's before I started seeing all these YouTubers, I think I was kind of like convinced that, like, oh, every, like, zip code's probably got 2 or 3 weirdos. No, they're everywhere, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere, and they don't have a look, they don't have a smell. You can't tell who they are until one of
Right.
these YouTube guys catches them dead to rights.
Right.
And that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Man.
It is.
Yeah, it's crazy because some are teachers, some are doctors, some are lawyers, some are judges, some are police officers, some are firefighters.
Some of them are just the neighbor next door,
Yeah, they come from all walks of life. Some are married and have kids. I mean, it's crazy.
It's not good. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Human trafficking is everywhere.
Yeah.
Grady is awesome. I watch a lot. You turn me on to him, Ricky. I watch a lot of his videos. Like, just like I'll watch like the mashups of his press conferences.
Yeah.
he's hilarious, if not anything. Like
Oh yeah.
his general disregard to me, again, like I was talking about with Norm, like, you know, this missing mom's case down in Guyman, it looks like the courts haven't come out and said that one of them has turned state witness. But if you just look at what's going on, it looks like one of them has turned state witness. And so I was kind of talking to Norm about, like, you know, when you're kids, you're told to not be a tattletale. And I think that there
Right.
is some merit to that. Nobody likes somebody run around tattling on people. And when it's inconsequential, more of an ethical gray area. But to me, where it's no longer tattletaling and you're not going to be a snitch, if somebody, like, and not all crimes, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, but if somebody takes somebody's life or does something weird or physical harm to, like, a woman, child, or somebody with special needs, you're
Mhm.
not a human being in my vocabulary, and
Right.
therefore tattling on you, snitching on you, that doesn't exist. You're not a human being. You know, Hope just about fell over. But to me, like, that's the difference. Once you cross that, because, you know, everybody has different beliefs when it comes to religion and politics, but I think most decent human beings draw the line at murdering or harming children, or people who are, in danger. That's where we draw the line, and if you can do
Mhm.
that, you're not a human in my book.
Right. Another thing I like about Sheriff Judd too is on his actual YouTube channel, which is Polk Sheriff. He will actually show the images of juveniles that are out there shooting up their neighborhoods or whatever.
Mhm.
He's not afraid to do it, and he's even told the media, said, "Shame on you for not doing the same."
Yeah.
So I mean, I like him. I mean, when he's talking about these sex things and stuff, and when he talks about some of the stuff that these guys bring with them or what they tell him or what, he's like, "Did you hear what I said?"
Yeah, I love that. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Jux says, I know a guy named Darko who has a PDF file. He was never caught and can't turn him in, but that's awful. I'm sorry about that juxtaposition.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's one team that does the pedophile thing and named in Oklahoma pedophile provision. Oh wow.
There's a bunch of them, and I'm glad they're all doing it. I hope they catch
Mhm.
as many people as possible. But it
Definitely.
just really, it starts to get, it's like 7 a week from 7 different YouTubers. You're just like,
Wow.
man, when you watch these people get caught, it starts to be less shocking even to you because you watch it every day, and you're just like, that's not good. Like, this is how it happens. I'm becoming desensitized to, because all these people are just doing it every day, and it's like, that's not good, man. Like, it's bigger than YouTube. It's big. There's a
Yeah.
monumental human flaw in some people that
Oh,
is
yeah.
just not good.
Right. We did her already.
Okay, Alejandro, right? Now it's next.
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There we go.
Okay. And he's another one. Let's see, he's missing from Kansas City, Kansas. It's September 11th, 2024. He's 14, 5'3", 125 pounds, black hair and dark brown eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Alejandro's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Alejandro located and back to where he needs to be. He's been missing for about 2 weeks now, so let's see if we can't get him found. Yeah, man. Here's John Jensen. He's missing from Kerwin, Kansas. It's June 14th, 2023. He's 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He left without his vehicle, his cell phone, or his wallet. And he was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, has brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance, or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-543-6885 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get John located and back to where he needs to be.
I consider Elkhart to be a tiny town. The website says we have like 2,300 people. I think it's probably closer to 1,500. Very small town. The Wikipedia says Kerwin's population as of 2020 was 139.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Metropolis.
Like
Ooh.
4 families.
Yeah.
The total area is 0.99 square miles.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's small.
That's almost like Mullenville.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a tiny town. And that stuff matters. Like, you know, like with the missing moms case, people say, people that are that aren't from around here, they'll say like Guyman's a small town, everybody knows everybody, and that's kind of true. But then you come to a town like Elkhart, you're like, well, Guyman's kind of big, you know, they got a subway, you know what I mean? Like Guyman's a lot bigger than Elkhart, but then you go to Kerwin and Elkhart looks like New York City compared to Kerwin. Like it's just, and I think that everything changes the smaller the town gets. You know, it's just more.
Right.
It's more. You really, really, really know everybody. You know what I mean?
Right. And this is Jessica K. Jensen, daughter of Jonathan Jensen. There, it says the family believes his wife knows something. She won't talk to the police and his children, and won't let us in the house.
That's sketchy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. It definitely sounds like she may know something.
CB says when they do that census, they're counting cats and dogs. See, I think they have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. 139 people. That is tiny.
All right. This Catherine Alcox, missing from Coffeyville, Kansas, since December 31st, 2023. She's 50, 5'2", 135 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. It's believed that she may have went to the Cushing, Oklahoma area. The last contact Catherine had with her family was on or about December 31st, 2023. And she's 50. She's 5'2", weighs 135 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Catherine's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, or you've had contact with Catherine after December 31st, 2023, please call the Coffeyville, Kansas Police Department at 620-252-6160 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Catherine located and back to where she needs to be. And this is Shelby McDaniel. Let's see here. She is missing from Kansas City, Kansas. We have a lot of Kansas City, Kansas tonight. It's March 26, 2024. She was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17, 5'5", 164 pounds. Her hair is blonde or white and has blue eyes. She does have ties to Crestline, Kansas, Columbus, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Again, she was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She is 5'5", weighs 164 pounds. Her hair is blonde or white and has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Shelby's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Shelby located and back to where she needs to be. Looks like she also likes to experiment with dyeing her hair too, because that right-hand picture looks like she dyed the under part of it dark.
Yeah.
I'm in that phase right now too. I get it.
Me too.
And this is one that I just did today. Elizabeth Baird. Yeah. Another Kansas City, Kansas. Missing since September 25th, 2024. So today. She's 15, 5'6", 120 pounds, brown hair that was last known to be dyed black and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Elizabeth's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 785-296-4017 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Elizabeth located and back to where she needs to be.
That's the last flyer I have. Is that all we have for you? That's all we have, Rick?
The only other thing I was going to mention was, again, this right here, the Saturday Night Showdown. It's this Saturday, the 28th. Doors open, I believe, at 5. I will be there with the Kansas Missing and Unsolved table set up again. So if you guys want to stop by and say hi and check out some good wrestling going on that night, stop by. The location is 140 North 5th Street in Salina. Again, the doors open at 4. I'll be there set up with a Kansas Missing and Unsolved table and hope to talk to a lot of folks.
Yeah.
That was really the last thing I was wanting to mention.
All right. So we're going to get out of here here in a minute. We're going to do Ricky's weekly prayer. If you're not a religious person, you can just have positive thoughts and hope that, I think we all, at the end of the day, whether you believe in the big guy in the sky or not, I think we all want everybody to be brought home safe and sound.
Absolutely.
We want to thank everybody that tunes into this show every week. Check out Hope and May this Sunday night right here on my YouTube channel at Derek Evan Relaford. Sunday night, 9 p.m. Central. They're going to talk about mental health, mental illness. They do every week. It's my favorite podcast that I'm a part of. And Ricky, take it away. And we appreciate everybody for being here.
Okay, and just want to also don't forget to jump over to the Ricky Jabruggi Kansas Missing and Unsolved YouTube channel and like and subscribe and share that channel out there too. Be greatly appreciated. But yeah, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight and letting us go over these cases with these folks, and hopefully these flyers and these cases reach the right hearts with the right thoughts, and it'll get that information in that they have that'll bring somebody home or help solve an unsolved homicide. Until we see each other again next week, everybody stay safe, God bless, stay healthy, and amen.
Amen. And I did just pin a comment from your page. Everybody, please click on that profile, subscribe to Ricky's page. We go live here every week, just like my page. We're on about 6 platforms right now, so we appreciate everybody. We'll see you next time.